Most of the time, you're working undercover with fake identity. Your skills of the acting ability, it's very important.
Did you happen to do any background check on me?
That's a thing that you have to do, even if you are a businessman.
What does it take to spend 20 years protecting Israel, running field operations, and knowing secrets most people will never hear? Today on Moses in Israel, I sit down with a former Shin Bet field operations expert, and what he reveals will change the way you see the world.
Shin Bet or Shabak is Israel's internal security and counter-intelligence agency, and it is often compared to the FBI. They directly report to the Prime Minister of Israel, and their main goal is to prevent terrorism, sabotage, and spying inside Israel and Palestinian territories.
You are lying to somebody, you are doing some kind of manipulating somebody, and morally it can take you to the place that it's not good, it's wrong.
And all of a sudden, when the defense starts to crumble, and when there's an intelligence failure, how do you navigate that failure? And because then it feels very personal as somebody who works in intelligence. Who do you blame? What do you do to fix it?
The blame actually is more on what we thought as a society, to be arrogant. To be arrogant that you are the best, and then you can fail.
Namaskar, shalom and welcome. My name is Ravital Moses, aka Moses in Israel, your favorite Indian Jew, born and raised in India and now living in Israel. And my goal is to bridge India and Israel one video at a time. And today we have somebody who has dedicated 20 years of his life to Israel's intelligence, but it's Israel's internal intelligence, also called as Shin Bet or Shabak. So today we have Amit Assa, who has been a former field operation expert, and he has given 20 years of his life. For people who don't know, Shin Bet or Shabak is Israel's internal security and counter-intelligence agency, and it is often compared to the FBI. They directly report to the Prime Minister of Israel, and their main goal is to prevent terrorism, sabotage, and spying inside Israel and Palestinian territories. I hope I said all of that right. But Amit, welcome to Moses in Israel. A year ago, I have been meaning to get intelligence experts on my channel, and the first one was actually Avner. So shout out to Avner, who has been a former Mossad, and he introduced us. And the next thing I know, I'm having you on my channel.
That's the second one.
Also, second one. But you are the first from Shin Bet. So you're my lucky charm for anybody from Shin Bet. I have so many questions for you. But first of all, welcome. How are you feeling?
Thank you for having me. Okay, Rita, it's nice to meet you all. It's very deeply emotional thing for me to speak to Indians population and people because I have in my heart very good feelings about it, and we will talk about it maybe in the interview.
Okay, awesome. So I also asked this to Avner, so I'm going to ask you, how do you just become an intelligence expert? Was this your mission in life, or did you just happen to get into it? Tell us more.
Look, I think it's something that in personal, you have it in your stomach when you are growing up. But still, every one of us have it somewhere. Every one of us, I mean, every one of us needs to know something without everybody know that they know it. Even in social life, we are saying that I want to be the fly on the wall when there are two people are talking maybe about me. It can happen to students. It can happen when you are a child. You want to be there without nobody will know that you are there. So it's something that you have it in your stomach, everyone, but still you need some kind of skills. So during my life, I saw that I have skills that I can open it and more solid it.
So let me ask you some follow-up questions. At what age did you get recruited to Shin Bet?
It was after my service in the IDF. In the IDF, I was served in a commando unit in Golani Commander. but I didn't think about intelligence work. Usually, people that comes from commando units goes to security agencies. Even in Shin Bet, we have the security that guards the VIP protection of prime minister and the president, etc. But this is the normal and very natural thing for commando people to go after the IDF service.
Hmm.
But still, I had in my mind the thought that I will have maybe some secret work and it will be better for me. So I started to look for it, but it came for me coincidentally.
So I'm assuming you were probably like 22 or 23 when you
Yeah.
actually started
Yeah.
to work for the
Mhm.
Israelis intelligence, but
Mhm.
like internal security.
Internal.
What does the Shabak do? Like, tell us more. Like, we know they do just more than prevent terrorism and sabotage. Like, give us more insight.
Look, Shabak, the Shin Bet, is under the prime minister office, and there, as you said, preventing terror attacks and preventing also sabotage, but they are looking for any kind of activity against the country that goes undercover. So, if there is any group of people that wants to harm or to drill in the democratic base of Israel, you also deal with it. And you can see it from outside and from inside. So if there is any kind of a group that is radical in the left side or the right side, it doesn't matter. That means that they are doing actually operations undercover to harm the democratic way of life in Israel. Shabak also will deal with it.
And is there something that you can do and cannot do as Shabak?
Actually, we have a law that called the Shabak law in Israel. So you are working according to the law. It's not something that you can do whatever you like or whatever the commanders will say. You are under the law. Israel is a democratic country, and that's why we have a law for Shabak. And you can watch it. It's open wide,
Mhm.
and you can see what it's allowed and what it's not allowed.
Mhm.
But still, you have gray areas that it's not under the law, and you have to work with it.
To work with it. Okay, talking about gray area, because you're undercover, but you also have a moral compass. How do you navigate that?
Okay, the moral thing it's very important to understand because when we are talking about security and a country security and national security, you know that you are doing as in the IDF when you are a soldier, you are protecting the community, you're protecting the society, and you are working under the law. So even if you have to do some things that you will call the gray areas that in general or in normal life you will not do it because you are lying to somebody, you are doing some kind of manipulating somebody, and morally it can take you to the place that it's not good, it's wrong.
Mm.
When you put in front of you the cause, the aim that you have to watch, and it's the security of your society, the
Mhm.
security of the democratic way of living, the free world, as we can understand that Israel is very democratic. You know that you can use tools that sometimes it's against your moral, but you can put it together and to say what is important, more important.
Mm.
And then morally, it helps you to do things that generally in your life you are not doing it. You're not lying to people for your own sake, for your enjoying yourself lying to people. That's when we are talking about lying.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly jump to like a straight up question. Has anybody planned an assassination against you in your 20 years of career?
I think that I'm not working and thinking that somebody will want to do it.
Mm.
So I'm not putting it in my mind. I know that I'm working under a risk.
Right.
because you are working in the areas that they are the enemy areas, in other places that you are not safe there.
Hmm.
You can't be safe in places like you even can't take arm with you to areas that you are on risk. So the risk is above your head all the time.
Hmm.
You feel the risk and you act against it. So I think that you are not dealing with it in your normal life, because come back from the field always is less dangerous than the field operation itself.
Mm. No, because I always feel like because you're so skilled, you can actually tell maybe somebody's following me, has something like that happened, or somebody's like keeping an eye on me.
Yeah, I think that from the moment your skills are and you're trained for that kind of a job, and you are doing by yourself undercover actions, you see the world different way.
Mm.
You start to watch people in other way than normal people, and it's built on your in your mind. You can't avoid it.
Right.
So if somebody will do some kind of surveillance after me, I think I can copy it very easily, and more than regular person that doesn't know this work.
Okay.
I know how it look like.
I'm just curious. Did you happen to do any background check on me before you decided to walk into this podcast episode?
Yeah, that's a thing that you have to do, even if you are a businessman. Not just if you want to meet somebody and to know who he is, but still, I will not tell you secrets that I can't tell. So we have no problem.
Fair. Let's talk about some skills. What skills does it take to make a good agent?
If we are talking about a field agent, I think the most important thing is the acting ability, uh, built on the ability to change your identity. Because most of the time you're working undercover with fake identity. So to put on yourself, on your face and on your details, or who are you and what are you doing it, here is it's two questions that always will be raised up.
Hmm.
So your skills of the acting ability, it's very important. But it's things that you can train. You can come with it from home in your stomach, and you're an actor from birth, but still you can take it and make it grow by training.
Before we move on, let me share a quick insight. All of you have been watching this channel, but 80% of you have not subscribed to this channel. Only with your support, I'm able to grow, invite better guests, and create an impact in the India-Israel space. So please go ahead, click that subscribe button and help this channel grow. You can also support this channel on Ko-fi. With great content comes great responsibility and great expense. So every little bit helps. And now, back to the show. So, because you said you're a field operation expert, I'm assuming that you have been in disguise many, many times.
Yeah.
How is that like? And how is because I know like that was your life, but like you can only fake it so much,
Mhm.
right? So, did you have days where it was really tough for you to be under disguise and keep going? I mean, 20 years is a long time.
Mhm.
Can you tell us some challenges? Because as a civilian, it looks very cool. We see movies and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. But as somebody who's worked on the field, what are your, I'm assuming it's more mental and emotional challenges and of course physical as well. So can you like throw some spotlight on that?
Um, First, we can say that there is a lot of difference between what we see in movies than real life.
Right.
And I will maybe concentrate on this. And I will say that if we see in a movie like an actor comes to do some kind of a job, a espionage job, and is putting the redraw and putting up some kind of a passport that is another name and another country. Now he will be another person. In a movie, it's very easy. But in life, when you have another passport, another name, you need to know what is the base of this personality. If he lives in Paris, for example, or in other country like Marseille, for example, and it's written in the passport that you are citizens of Marseille, you need to say from where in Marseille,
Mm.
because questioning at the street is very easy. But if you're confronting legal personnel, like in the border pass, or any kind of a policeman
Mhm.
that will ask you some question because you have some kind of a suspicious, you have to go more deeper to your cover story,
Mm.
to your fake identity. So it's not just a name. It's just not a picture that it's on the passport. You need to know from where are you coming from, and you have to know the place, the culture, the society, the nature of the environment. You have to be there physically to know the streets, to know people from the street, to know who is the man that works in the grocery, to know the exact address that you put on the passport. So you have to deal first with your identity
Mm.
and to fulfill a lot of time, base it and make it solid. That first in your cover story is who you are, will be very, very good with your stories. And you ask how you manage to live two different
Lives.
personalities
Yeah,
in
two
life.
lives. Yeah, for so long.
Yeah, you put a line, very sharp line
Mm.
between them.
I see.
And when you are going to work, and it can be for a longer time,
Hmm.
weeks sometimes, or months sometimes. The minute you are changing the identity, the passport, you are another person.
Mm.
You speak another language. You are behaving like the person that you are put on yourself, culturally, and sometimes religiously.
Mm.
Sometimes you have to work against your religious or in other religions, because this is your identity, your fake identity. So it's very sharp line.
Mhm.
And when you come back, you're back for you can't do it together. You can't be the same person in the same time.
I understand. I mean, I can only imagine, but I think I know what you mean. Let's talk about defense failures inside the country. Israel is known to be the best in defense, but I think in the last 2, 3 years, I think as somebody who has lived in Israel, I get a lot of questions. I'm from India, for people who didn't know. But India always has appreciated Israel's defense, and all of a sudden, when the defense starts to crumble, and when there's an intelligence failure, how do you navigate that failure? And like how, because then it feels very personal as somebody who works in intelligence. Who do you blame? What do you do to like fix it? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, first, we have to say, frankly, that it was a very big failure of intelligence,
Right.
but not just the intelligence failure.
Hmm.
Because I think all of the Israelis, in our state of mind before 7th of October war, lived in the conception, meaning we think about the enemy in a way that we shouldn't think like.
Can you
Okay,
break it down for us?
under underestimate them
Hmm.
for doing what they did, or eventually.
Okay.
And this was in the mind of everybody. It's not just the intelligence. Of course, the intelligence is responsible, from my point of view, of the regular civilians. We are putting our money and efforts to have a good intelligence organization, that kind of a thing will not happen.
Right.
So the blame is on the intelligence, on the army, whatever. They were on the shift
Right.
when they had to say that something is coming. But the blame actually is more on what we thought as a society
Hmm.
about the other side, about the enemy, and how we think now today to be ready for that kind of action at the future. Still, we have to change our way of thinking when we are talking about the other side, the enemy.
I also think I think somewhere down the line we felt like we are the best and we just overlooked everything. Again, I don't come from a defense background. I'm an immigrant who learned about the Israeli society living for 6 years, and I see how Israelis. I think we are resilient and we are proud, but I think that I completely agree with you. I think you gave me a new perspective where we definitely see the enemy, we underestimate them, and we feel like, what are they going to do? And then they did it.
I think it's more than that. It's to be arrogant, to
Mm.
be arrogant that you are the best, and then you can fail.
You're the first
So
Israeli who said that.
yeah, I think that every one of us have to put himself in the position that maybe he doesn't know everything. And especially intelligence people that works in intelligence always have to put this in their mind. Maybe I'm wrong. All the time to check yourself that maybe at the other side there is another person that is working against me and is way before me or one step before me, and I have to be all the time a step before him.
Okay, so that brings me to our topic of the Iran Israel war. That happened maybe last year because I was, if you didn't know, my family was impacted by the missile that fell in Tel Aviv, and we were displaced and we had to move apartments.
Mhm.
Let's talk about how Iran and also Israel collects intelligence and how they use it against us.
First, one comment about what you said. Iran war is not just 1 year war against Iran. Iran is the what we call the octopus of all terror, radical Islam in the area for a lot of years, and they are financial all the terror at organization like Hamas, like Hezbollah, and they are proxies of Iran. So we withdraw with Iran a lot of years before the actual confronting Iran physically.
Mhm.
So let's think about Iran as the base of all our problem when we are talking about radical Islam, and not just in the Middle East, in other places in the world.
Okay.
And when we're talking about Iran war, we have to again not to be underestimate them in the field of intelligence because they are very smart and they work in the intelligence way um, like any other country that we are confronting. It's not a group of terrorists.
Hmm.
It's a country that works like Israel, like any kind of country
Mhm.
in the world, using intelligence. Then we can understand they can use a lot of means to get information about Israel.
Can you give us like top 3 ways of how they collect intelligence about us,
Uh,
about Israel?
First, they do whatever every company can do. It's a cyber intelligence,
Mm.
trying to get from the internet and from open sources information about Israel. But then we can understand that there is secrets that you can't get from the internet or from cyber attack because Israel is secured by cyber. Cybersecurity is very developed in Israel, and we are at the head of the cyber companies in the world. So we understand that Iran was confronting this problem and say, okay, now we will go to the old-fashioned way, and old-fashioned mean humans. It's the human intelligence. Human intelligence means I will recruit somebody from the inside or put somebody from my side inside physically,
Mm.
boots on the ground, to have the information that I can't get from the outside. And this subject of humans, this is my specialty. Actually, I did it inside Israel and outside Israel using techniques of human ability and operation undercover in the other side. So when we see Iran doing it also in Israel, it's not surprising us. It's a way of collecting information in the old fashion.
Mm.
And when you are confronting a wall that you can't collect information in other means, you come back to the simple and old fashioned way, meaning people.
I have a question unrelated to the war because it just came to me right now. What is the coolest gadget you've ever used as an agent?
First, the most interesting gadget I can't say. I
Okay.
can't tell. Okay.
So maybe let's skip to the second one.
Yeah, but I can use, I think, examples from from the media
Okay.
that was already covered
All right.
and it's published, so I can use it. Um, for example, when we are talking about assassinations, and we see that there is such a thing,
Mhm.
we eliminate our enemy from far away sometimes because you can't bring them to justice.
Right.
You can't arrest them because they are in the other side of the border, because they are in a place that they can run away. So sometimes you have to hit them before they will hit you, and meaning you have to assassinate them.
Mm.
And assassination, of course, you do behind the borders,
Right.
in places that you can't put the hands of policemen can put the handcuffs on them.
Mm.
And one of I think, the good examples that I can use from the media
Mhm.
was in 1997 when Mossad agents tried to kill Khaled Mashal. Khaled Mashal is one of the leaders now, is the most important leaders of Hamas organization, terror organization. And at that time, he was already one of the leaders of Hamas, and he based on Jordan
Mm.
in Amman. And we knows that we wanted to assassinate him, but in a quiet way. So agent of Mossad came with a poison in the arms, and they came very close to him and put a poison in his ear. And from his ear, it leads on the blood system, and after a few hours, he was supposed to be dead. Of course, there was a collapse in the program, in the operation,
I see.
and his guard saw this action, and he ran after them,
Mm.
and they were chasing each other in the streets of Amman until some policemen were putting the hands
Mm.
on these two agents
Mm.
and put them in custody. And it was a very big issue diplomatically, very big problem between Israel and Jordan. In
Mm.
that time, Jordan and Israel have a good relationship,
Mm.
and the king of Jordan say to Prime Minister of Israel, "You have to give me the antidote of the poison, otherwise I will have to judge them for death." These two agents. So, if you are looking for sophisticated way of working, I think it's the most one. Oh, I have more examples, but
Instance.
we will have to be here all day.
For episode 2. Wow, that sounded like a movie scene. Because
Uh,
listen, because I grew up with Indian cinema, we also have a lot of spy and espionage movies. I will recommend you a movie. I also recommend it to Avner. It's called Dhurandhar. It's about an Indian spy going to Pakistan and bringing intelligence. I think you'll really appreciate it, because also like India goes through the same issues as Israel does.
mhm.
But let's come to you. You are an author of a novel. You wrote an espionage novel in Hebrew, and now it's translated in Hebrew. And he got it for me, so let me show it to you.
Translated to English, and it's in Amazon.
It's called Infiltration Games. I can't wait to read it. Thank you so much. And he's going to sign it for me after this episode.
You
So,
can find it in Amazon, and
yes.
you can take it from there.
I'm also going to add the link in the description. So if you're interested to go and read this book, go click on the link and buy the book. But what encouraged you to write a novel?
First, it was after my service, of course, after the days of service when I retired already. And what's in the book,
Mhm.
it's not a true story. It's some espionage thriller, but it's based on my experience, of course. So you can see inside the book the way of working of an agent undercover outside Israel, like Mossad agent,
Mhm.
and you can feel. And the most important thing in the book is that I bring the dilemmas of the agent in a moral way, as we spoke, and his personal dilemmas morally find him um, in a lot of places. First, morally against his enemy, and morally against maybe his values, sometimes with his family, with his friends. And these all conflicts are in the book. What brought me to write this book is that I think nobody can share it really if you are an agent. And after you are retiring for the work, you even not can't share it with nobody. So I think I I think about it like I'm the mouth and the of all of the agents
Mhm.
that the public, the people outside will understand more how it's like to be this kind of a person.
So long story short, the hero of the book is you. I'm gonna say that
I
because
can't say that, but
but you
it's
basically wrote
based on my
based on
experience
your
and based on
experiences.
a lot of other agents that I trained because I trained a lot of agents to be undercover agents. So I saw a lot of personalities
Okay.
and I brought everything mixed up to this personality that is in the book, but actually is more closer to me, of course.
That's awesome. I can't wait to read it. And hopefully, somebody picks this novel and makes it into a movie. Which brings me to Amit is also working on a series.
Yeah,
And from what I understand, he's working with an Indian production house.
it's the first steps.
That is
Yes.
so exciting. I mean, well, I wish you luck with whatever happens, but it's very exciting that as an Indian, I always look towards India and Israel collaborating. And I know there are a lot of defense collaborations, but when it comes to movies, I'm like,
Yeah.
because we produce so many movies, and if Israel wants to produce something, we have great production houses, and now I meet you, and I'm like, that's awesome. Can
Yeah.
you give us a little more insight on like what's happening, what
Yeah.
it looks like?
Yeah, first it's a television serial,
Okay.
and it's based on my story, on my book.
Okay.
But still, it's a change. Sometimes you have to change things because the serial is have to look other way than the book.
Hmm.
Okay, and have to be more fast. You move from scene to scene very easily, and not just in my book, but
Mhm.
still my book is chapters like a scenes, so it's very easy to compare it and to change it to Syria.
Mhm.
Still, it's a story that connected also the culture of the Indians. So that's why we are working
Hmm.
with the Indian company producer to make it more reality to what you know and what you live with in the espionage way of thinking in India.
Would you consider me as an actor for your series?
I think so.
Awesome. Keep that in mind.
But we have to train you first.
Of
It's a lot of
course.
time for training.
No, I love it. This is something that I've been wanting to explore is I don't know, be on television. I'm just putting it out there so you know I'm open to it.
Okay, I will think
Um
about it.
that's awesome. We are towards the end of this episode. We have so much to talk about, but we'll wait for episode 2. But two more questions for you. You have trained generations of field operations in the Shabak. What advice would you give to generations to come as somebody who is a veteran in field operations?
I think the most important thing that also connected the 7th of October, it's a failure. First, it's not to underestimate the other side and to think that you are the best. Even if you are the best, don't think like that. And every day, check yourself and have a question mark about everything that you do, if it's right or not.
Mhm.
And if you have to think other way. So put in your mind all the time the person that is confronting you and say, stop, maybe you're wrong. This is the first and important thing that I think we have to put on our mind.
Okay.
Not just if you are an espionage person or undercover person, as a person that lives in a threat like we are living in the Middle East.
Okay. And my last and final segment is I actually forgot to ask you, did you have a chance to work with the Indian intelligence by any chance? Or did you have a chance to visit India for some reasons?
In security way of thinking and the security way of working, of course, in general. Israel have a good relationship with all the intelligence, I think, intelligence organizations at the world, like FBI, like CIA, like MI5, MI6, of course, other countries. And you can imagine that every country that share the life of a free and liberal, free world today will be able to connect Israel and to have a cooperation with intelligence.
Mm.
So, if I answered your question, I hope that I understood
Loved
it.
how he answered the question. And like I was telling you off camera, my audience is from India and Indians living in the diaspora, majorly. Of course, we have audiences from all around the world. But what is one message you would like to give to the Indian audience, especially as an Israeli, as somebody who's worked in the intelligence?
Yes, first, I know the Indian society and I know the Indian way of thinking. And I think that we share the same ideology. As I said before, we want to lead the world for to be a free mind and free and liberal, and our free world have to lead us to fight together
Hmm.
with the barbarian and the radical people all over us or surrounding us. So I think we share the same values, Israel and India, when we comes for fighting the other uh, way of thinking that leads by countries like Iran or Islamic radical any place in the world. And I think that we can share these values very deeply together in other aspects, working together, meaning business together, and of course, nationality and more personality.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for your kind words. Amit, this is the end of our episode. Thank you for your time. I know you're very busy, but I really appreciate your time and your experience, cause and thank you for your service.
Yes, I think that I can't say a lot
I understand.
when I speak about secret thing, but you can have to imagine more than you know.
I think you gave us like a little bit of an insight, so I can definitely visualize what it might look like. So thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you very much. Thank you
For
for having
everybody,
me.
for everybody who wants an episode 2 with Amit, go down in the comment section, leave more questions for Amit, and we'll come up with episode 2. Um,
I will be that.
and I will be adding the link of his book, Infiltration Games, in the description. Go check it out, buy the book, and also send us a review. I think you'd be very happy to know what you guys think about the book. And in the meantime, stay safe, watch the right content, and I'll see you next time.